Welcome, new and returning listeners, to today's episode of the Black Business Roundtable. I am your host, Doug Blacksher, broadcasting to you live from the city of Diversity, Oakland, California. If you don't know, now you know. It is National Women's History Month, March 2023. So, what are you doing this month to honor the special women in your life, such as grandmothers, mothers, aunts, sisters, cousins, co-workers, and friends? This week, we welcome back Barack Obama Shaw, running for governor of California 2026. I have Trent Willis, past immediate president of the ILWU, Local 10, International Longshore Warehouse Union, to catch up on all things union. We have first-time guest, owner Bridget Cain of Nates4Men. And if you remember last week, I was wearing one of her spectacular collection of ties. Launching March 2023 for premier luxury men's clothing store located at Oakland City Center, 501 14th Street, Oakland, California. I want to welcome back this week my favorite clinical expert that keeps me, and that's a big job keeping me, that keeps me in a positive mindset, and our mental health consultant. I saved that introduction, of course, for my co-host, Dr. Ashley Coleman, Doctor of Psychology, with us each week as she broadcasts from Southern California, helping us with our mental health needs. So let's get started. Instagram at Barack Denzel, at Nates4, and that's the numeral 4, men 1, and that's the numeral 1, at ILWU, at Women's History Month, at Barack Obama 4, and that's the numeral 4, GOVCA, at ILWU, at ILWU 10, and that's the numeral 10, at Nates4, and that's the numeral 4, men, number 1, and that's the numeral 1. Our sincerest thank you, as always, to Mr. Doni Glover of Black USA News for the honor of Black Business Roundtable being a part of your growing network dedicated to bringing the real, unfiltered news before the news. Hashtag BlackUSA.news, hashtag Doni Glover. Today, March 9th, 2023, noted via the National Day Calendar. Their website is nationaldaycalendar.com. Today is National Crab Meat Day. And let me tell you, audience, if it were up to me, I'd be eating crab meat every day. Hashtag National Crab Meat Day. While crab meat is a healthy choice, the fat and calorie add up once you add the butter. And you got to have butter, especially garlic butter. But I love it so. Bon appetit. Thank you, National Day Calendar. And their website is nationaldaycalendar.com. Some current events in the news today. Governor Newsom of California takes action in regards to Walgreens due to their limiting of access to the abortion pill. His quote, California won't be doing business with Walgreens or any company that that cowers to the extremists and puts women's lives at risk. We ought to applaud Governor Gavin Newsom. Great job, Governor, for looking out for this state. Thank you, Governor, for the standing up for women in California for having a choice with their bodies, not a dimmed voice as in other states. It took a stand for California regarding, and once again, he took a stand for the women in this state. We need to commend him for that. He took a stand for California regarding women's health and is standing firm. Well, the receipts are in. Louisville, Kentucky, per Matrix Garland, U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, shared that the police there engage in racial discrimination. This was kicked off due to the no-knock warrant and the killing of innocent Breonna Taylor. It is also now reviewing the police department where Tyler Nichols was killed as well. You ought to be shaming yourself, Louisville. Shame, shame, shame. Shame, shame, shame. Remember that on HULU, Project 1619, the limited 6-part series of what many already know is the horrendous history of racism in America. Also, the Colin Kaepernick Project spotlighting Speaker Kevin McCarthy's district right here in California and Kern County. And let me just be clear, we call it Killing County. Once again, Kevin McCarthy district, Kern County, California. Yes, California, called Killing County. One of the most dangerous counties in California when the killers are law enforcement. What? You mean killers with badges? Yes, law enforcement. Watch, share, and mention on social media. This week's Black Business Roundtable thumbs up goes to Alameda County District Attorney Pamela Price, my sister, and I'd like to also let the audience know I am her alternate delegate for AD 18. Pamela Price, for her social justice reform and the new changes taking place since she was elected. Instagram her at Pamela Price Cares. Hashtag Pamela Price Cares. I love being on a winning team. Congratulations, Madam Pamela Price, District Alameda County in California. Congratulations, my sister. This week's Black Business Roundtable thumbs down goes to who made the Black Business Roundtable naughty list of 2023. This week, Senator Mitch McConnell now decides to stand with the opinion of Chief of Capitol Police in regards to January 6th. Really? Now? You want to, after the all folk, and let's just be honest, they're fake news info over all this time, telling tales, and now the truth. In front and center, the fake news anchors did not even believe. They didn't even believe what they were spewing via their own text messages. Unbelievable. You are like a tall, overgrown collard green and need to be pruned from the garden. So hopefully that pruning will come with common sense. Yes, common sense from your constituent. Plucking you from their gardens by voting. Yes, and I speak about that every week. Voting you out. Stop pandering and get real. Thank you. Instagram at Leader McConnell, at McConnell Press, at Fox News, hashtag Leader McConnell, at McConnell Press, hashtag Fox News. Don't receive the thumbs down in hashtag the town. Do better. Do better. You are welcome to come and talk with us about it and make it right. So if you don't like what we're saying, come on the show. We'll be more than happy to talk to you and discuss what's going on. Hashtag BBRT Naughty List. Hashtag BBRT Naughty List 2023. Today's show highlight, joining us today to discuss what he has been doing for the foundation for his 2026 campaign run for governor of California is my brother, my friend, Barack Obama Shaw. Yes, he is back on the show today. Next, we have back in the studio, Mr. Trent Willis, whom will catch us up on all things union. And that brother is not out there knocking it dead. We look forward to seeing Trent today. First time guest joining us is Bridget Cain, owner of Nates4Men, and that's the numeral 4, stepping up your luxury men apparel game right here in Oakland, California. So let's get started with my co-host joining me shortly, Dr. Ashley Coleman, as we give you the scoop from Oakland, California, right here on the Black Business Roundtable, March 9th, 2023 edition. My show guests today include Therapeutic Thursday. Check in with my very, Lord, out in with our very own. I'm working on it. Let me say it again. Therapeutic Thursday. Check in with our very own. Dr. Ashley Coleman, Doctor of Psychology, tenured and immediate past department chair, assistant professor of psychology at University of the West. Barack D. Obama Shaw. See him on Instagram at Barack Denzel, hashtag Barack Denzel, or Facebook, Barack Denzel, Barack D. Obama Shaw, hashtag Barack Obama 4, and that's the numeral 4, GOVCA. Mr. Trent Willis, immediate past president of the International Longshore and Warehouse Union, ILWU Local 10. Instagram at ILWU, at Slap Bay Area, at ILWU, at ILWU 10. And that's the numeral 10. And also at Slap. I love saying that. At Slap Bay Area. SLAP means School and Labor Against Prioritization. And last, but definitely not least, Bridget Cain, my friend, sister here in Oakland, entrepreneur and owner of Nates4, and that's the numeral 4 Men, a luxury clothing and men's store located at Oakland City Center, 501 14th Street, Oakland, California. Their phone number is 510-925-1662. Instagram at Nates4, and that's the numeral 4, Men, numeral 1, Once again, hashtag Nates4, and that's the numeral 4, men 1, and it's the numeral 1. And visit their website at Nates4, and that's the numeral 4 men.com. And let me be clear here. They have one hell of a selection. So, brothers, if you want to suit up and look good like your host here today, head on down to Nates4Men and get hooked up. Now, for the national political highlight, it appears a budget standoff between Democrats and the GOP is about to happen. Holding this country hostage. Ought to be shame of yourself. Shame, shame, shame. Federal programs cuts seem to be looming. So buckle up. Buckle up as this is about to get bumpy. And now, there it goes. Wait a minute, where's my ball? I need something to leave. When I see Dr. Ash, I go, woosah. Woosah. Audience, just like you would have a broken leg, just like you would have a cavity in your tooth and see a dentist, it's like you'd have a broken leg and see a medical doctor. When you have a splinter in your mind, when you are contemplating suicide, when you have depression, when you have anxiety, when you can't wake up in the morning and clean your room, go see a doctor of psychology and be well so that you can be a benefit not only to yourself, but to your friends, family, and loved ones. On that note, for the news of the day, Dr. Ashley, please. And hello, my sister.
Hello.
It's good to see you.
You. Jinx, we said at the same time. Good to see you as always, Doug.
Girl, it is storming out. I don't know what the weather is down there.
It's making its way down here. Not quite yet, but I know that I saw businesses putting sandbags outside. So we're definitely anticipating more rain, not so much snow, because, we had snow down here like you had up there, but it's already gotten started in Oakland.
I'm looking at, we have an office right across the street from the Coliseum now.
Yes.
So when Ray Bobbitt and the first African-American sports and entertainment crew come out, we'll be right across the street and we'll go over into our little booth, and you will come down each week to join live the WNBA, or the first Black-owned NFL team in the nation and in the world, right here in Oakland, California. So on that note, audience, let's get it started. And now, for the news of the day, Dr. Ashley, take us away. Thank you.
Thank you. And greetings, listeners. Welcome to Therapeutic Thursdays. Always happy to join you. Before I get started with the news of the day, I just want to give kudos to Doug. He went off screen, but I saw Ray Bobbitt with District 6 Representative Kevin Jenkins and the students of Castlemont High School touring the Coliseum recently. Saw that on social media. So again, the connections are so important, collaboration in order to enhance our community. So again, Doug, you are behind the scenes connecting like minds who want to, again, enhance Oakland, as we know the beautiful city it is and how it can grow. But I saw those pictures and I just thought about the work of BBRT and you personally. So I just wanted to give you that kudos.
Well, let me say this. I graduated from Castlemont in 1980, and this platform, we are going to fight to make sure that Oakland, California has the first Black-owned, NFL-owned team by African-American sports and entertainment group, and we will not let up, America. We will not let up, world, until we get that. And we're going to have Kevin Jenkins. We're going to have Janani Ramachandran. We're going to have Mayor Shane Tao and all the city council who were at the announcement at the Oakland Coliseum 2 or 3 weeks ago, but this is just the beginning
Mhm.
of Black power through Black economics. On that note, I'm going to remove myself. Take it away, Dr. Ashley.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, on this day, March 9th, in 1892, three Black grocers were lynched in Memphis, Tennessee. Um, Sadly, on that day, a white mob stormed the Memphis jail, seized three Black men held inside, and brutally lynched them without trial. Earlier that year, the same three Black men, Thomas Moss, Mr. Calvin McDowell, and Mr. William Henry Stewart, opened the People's Grocery Company in Memphis, Tennessee, located across the street from a white-owned grocery store that had previously had a monopoly in the local Black community. The men's new business reduced the white store's profits, and the venture also threatened the racial order by forcing white businessmen to compete economically with Black businessmen. And in the midst of this tension, a small fight between Black and white children grew into a larger conflict between Black and white men in that area. Afterwards, some white men accused the People's Grocery of being a meeting place for Black men planning an attack on white residents. And this was largely a pretext to target the store for destruction, and the grocery store owners and other Black men gathered with arms to defend the store against an attack. And again, when the mob attacked the store one evening, shots were exchanged and three white men were wounded. Subsequently, the Black owners of the grocery stores were quickly arrested and were on the cover of the newspaper reports published the next day. This led to the lynching. Ida B. Wells, at the time a 29-year-old Black school teacher and journalist living in Memphis, was a friend of the three murdered men and was deeply impacted by their deaths. And so she published an editorial echoing Mr. Moss's last words and urging local Black residents to, quote, save our money and leave a town which will neither protect our lives and property nor give us a fair trial in the courts, but takes us out and murders us in cold blood when accused by white persons. And so more than 6,000 African Americans heeded her call and left Memphis soon after. Eventually, Mrs. Wells herself was forced to leave Memphis for Chicago due to threats made on her own life, but she would devote her entire life to documenting and challenging the injustice of lynching through research, writing, speaking, and activism. No one was ever punished for the lynching deaths of Mr. Moss, Mr. McDowell, and Mr. Stewart. They are among at least 20 African American victims of racial terror lynching killed in Shelby County, Tennessee between 1877 and 1950.
You know, audience, it's very clear that African American Black people in this country for the last 400 plus years, there has been a history of killings, racial inequality, of gentrification in prime real estate that we have owned, and people who aren't of Black and African American descent have tried to take property away through eminent domain and others. Good paying jobs have been taken, or excuse me, not fairly distributed in the Black community. Now, let me be clear. There are some good companies out here, but we have a lot of work to do. And I think the Black Business Roundtable under Donnie Glover and blackusa.news for allowing us to allow my sister, my friend, my colleague, and sometimes my mental therapist to articulate and educate Black America on we are less than 100 years plus on serious inequities that have put Black people at a extreme disadvantage. That note, moving forward, Dr. Ashley, when I see you, sister, it's kind of, you bring peace, calm, and tranquility to my life.
Mm.
And I love you for that. And I'm looking at that candle going, woosah, woosah. That's a candle.
That is a candle. It
On
is
that note,
coconut milk
yeah,
mango.
look at you, girl. And she's the audience. I'm in Oakland, California, and my sister, Dr. Ashley, is in Southern California. But
Mhm.
because of modern technology, you would have think that she was right backstage with us.
Mhm.
We want to thank you, Dr. Ashley, for giving 2 hours every week to sit here first off and deal with me. That's a huge job in itself. But to educate Black America on how important it is to be strong mentally, because if you have a weak mind,
Mhm.
no matter how strong you are a weak person. On that note, I'd like to ask Dr. Ashley, we want to have our weekly check-in with our very own Dr. Ashley Coleman, Doctor of Psychology. Take it away, Dr. Ashley. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. And greetings again, audience. I hope that you've had a great start to your day. I want to talk a little bit first in acknowledging that yesterday was International Women's Day. And the purpose of the day, again, is to celebrate the tenacity, determination, and leadership of women and girls around the world and the immense contributions and accomplishments they achieve toward more peaceful and democratic societies. And this is a statement, a quote directly from Antony Blinken, the Secretary of the State at the time. And why are we talking about this today? So, in thinking about the women in your life, I hope that not just yesterday, but throughout the year, that you have opportunities to acknowledge, celebrate, and affirm the women in your lives. And for the ladies out there, that you're able to do that for yourselves as well. I thought that I would give us, it's a great time to check in about self care, but specifically about relationships. There are many different types of self care, and we've talked about this before. There is psychological self care, which we know the show champions, physical self care. There's social self care, which I'll highlight, spiritual self care, professional self care, something we're going to talk more about as we highlight these wonderful business owners later and community advocates, as well as financial self care. But for social self care, it's asking yourself about the quality of the squad. Who is your support system around you? And there's some questions that I'm going to share with you in a little minute or so to give you an opportunity to kind of pause and reflect on it. I want to be personal though for a second. Yesterday and today, and often I am reminded of the women in my family, um, my social circle, my sisters. I'm an only child, but my girlfriends, my former mentors, my current mentors. Um, and the importance for me in sisterhood and the women around me is not only have they been models of support and strength and achievement and empowerment, and how to also be delicate and persevere and be resilient and enjoy yourself and pamper yourself. What I've learned from the women around me is that I can have an idea or a dream, and they don't shoot it down. I'm always met with encouragement, whether I'm talking to my mom and getting ready to register to take a licensing examination, um, or I'm talking to a girlfriend and I'm thinking about what I want my next steps of my career to be, or I'm thinking about something. I was like, what do you think about media and me being on a podcast? And so, what's really important for me is that I have people around me that are willing to affirm and cheerlead for me the way that I do for them. And so, looking at reciprocity being so important. Other aspects of social self care, we've spent the last 3 years in a pandemic, some things to consider. Who do you spend time around that rejuvenates you, that it's easy to be yourself, that you can let your hair down? People that you genuinely like and that genuinely like you. Who are the people that you can call or text, share jokes with? Maybe don't even have time to say, "Hey, how you doing? How are the kids?" But you can send them a joke, they can send you a laugh, and it helps boost your day before you go right back into that meeting. Who stimulates you and who do you stimulate? When's the last time you've met new people, spent time alone with someone, asked for help, especially women of color? That can be a hard point of vulnerability for us. Do enjoyable activities. Again, keeping in touch with old friends and just overall social self care. When's the last time you had a girlfriend's night out? And if you can't get together in person, done something virtually. Anyone you miss, maybe there's been a rupture and it may seem weird potentially to, um, you're feeling maybe anxious about whether or not to make the first move and reach out. Relationships are so important enhancer in our life. And so I thought to actually task all of us to pick out a woman in your life, either to say thank you or to say I appreciate you, to say I love you, to say I see you doing your thing, I admire you, you inspire me, you mean so much to me. And there's so many different types of love languages. There's quality time, there's acts of service, there's gift giving. But I find that words of affirmation can be so healing. And some of us may say, well, they know I already feel that way about them. They don't need to hear that from me. Give it freely. You don't know what that reminder may do for someone that maybe is feeling stressed or going through a challenging time that they haven't shared with anyone. So if you haven't done it lately, please share that with another woman in your life. And if you haven't said it to yourself lately, go ahead and do that too. Because what we freely give others, it's important to also refill our cup and give ourselves. So, what are you most proud about yourself, woman? How do you celebrate and take up spaces, maybe where you're not celebrated, but you can celebrate yourself? When's the last time you made yourself laugh? When's the last time you've practiced those love languages on yourself? So again, I'm so grateful for the women in my life in all aspects, and I'm going to challenge myself to show that even more for the rest of the year, and then also to boomerang that love back to myself.
Well, audience, as you know, I continuously support our Black women, not just in
Mhm.
Oakland and Alameda County and in the state of California and in America, but across and in the world. We Black men, and I hope you're listening, we need to remember the Black woman is the backbone of not only America, but the world. They have been the strength and the innovative technology, science, education, and the mothers of our children. So let's take this month and every month to support women and specifically Black women. Dr. Ashley, thank you for sharing that with us today. And did you give the crisis hotline
I
number?
was you were reading my mind. So I appreciate you as a teammate. Yes, right on it. So, as always, one of the reasons to go to therapy can be to even strengthen and maintain what's going well, right? We go to the gym to also celebrate what our bodies can do and enhance that. So, if you, another opportunity to go to therapy is to enhance relationships or to learn new strategies to make connections with people. If you're interested for therapy for Black women, there's therapyforblackgirls.com, therapyforblackmen.org. If you find yourself or someone you care about experiencing a psychological emergency, you have a few options. You can take yourself or someone else to the nearest emergency room, or you can dial 988 at 24/7, 365. You can also text 741 741 if you prefer to communicate through that modality.
Audience, let me be clear here. I was once a unintelligent person who said, I ain't crazy. I'm not going to see a doctor. It's like, I don't need to see no psycho doctor. But now I'm at the front of the line and cutting the line at times. On that note, let's welcome back my brother, my friend, a man who I met at Trader Joe's to get my, and I'm not giving Trader Joe's a plug here, but I am giving them a plug for not having my brother, my friend, my colleague, Barack D. Obama Shaw. Dr. Ashley, can you please read this future governor's bio so that 3 years from now, the world, Craig, the world will see how we had the first Black governor of the United States right here in Oakland, California. Now, I don't say of the United States, but of California in the United States, right here on our show, promoting his campaign to represent all people. Thank you.
Yes, Barack D. Obama Shaw is self-employed. He studied at Texas Southern University and resides in Alameda, which is just outside of Oakland, California. He is originally from Houston, Texas, but we are fortunate to have him here in the Bay Area trying to make a difference. Welcome back, friend of the show, Barack D. Obama Shaw.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be back. That's great.
How you doing, my brother? How things going?
Things are coming along things are going well. They really are. It's amazing.
Well, let's dive right into it. Brother Barack Obama Shaw, I know we have for a short time, but catch us up to date on what is happening with your campaign. As I understand, the key word today is foundation building. Let us dive right into it and let us know what that means. Thank you, sir.
Oh, awesome! I like that. I mean, you're right on point. My great friend Kim of the show, I was talking to her just the other day, and we were gonna discuss the show, and we were talking about what I'm doing, and I said, "When's the last time you've been to City Hall?" I was like, "Oh, I'm going," and the next thing you know, she said, "Well, when is the next meeting?" I was like, "Wait, let me see." It's like, "Wait a minute, it's happening tonight." Why don't you get on Zoom and check it out, and see what's happening, because you want to know what's happening. I said, "That's a good idea." So, and I and I got off the phone, and I was like, "Well, why don't I just go up there?" So went up there and start hearing what's happening, what people are dealing with. And what I got from just that interaction with Kim was, how we influence one another, and having just someone to talk to on a regular basis about whatever it is that you're interested in. She's got that political backdrop for me. So if I talk to her, then it's like, oh yeah. Let me do something about that real quick. So it really got when I saw that we influence people quickly, we influence people thoroughly. And I had one more other thing, but we influence people, and it's for us to change our direction, and I'm really grateful for her, because it really helped me and towards my foundation. And what I saw by listening to the city council and listening to the mayor here and in Alameda, and you can just hear the cause and effect relationship, where if business owners, if they don't have enough people coming in, and then the council or doing what they can do with taxes, or seeing what they can work around to make things a little bit easier for folks, and to offer their support. And I'm interested in making sure that people know that they can cause their own breakthroughs, because you don't want to just depend on the city to do it. As a matter of fact, I had a friend years ago. We were doing some training, some personal development training, and it cost about $200 for the weekend, right? So he this is years ago. He's like, hey, I need a little money. So he gave, boom, there was the money, right? Boom. And then it's another weekend came by, like, oh, no problem. And then here we go, it's another weekend. It's like, he just say, wait a minute. He said, I could give you the money, but if I give you the money, you won't get the breakthrough. You won't know that you can do this yourself with all the things that you got going on. If I just simply just do this, I'll do this for you again. But I want you to, what do you want to do? I said, you know what? That's a good point you made. And from there, I did what I needed to do with myself to make sure I was ready when things, I caused that breakthrough for myself. And I've never been the same, because somebody just didn't give things to me, all the time. So kind of like being a spotter. You're in the gym, and you got all of this weight on the bar, and you're trying to push, and you have a spotter to help you up a little bit. They're not going to just pull it up, and like, if it's only on your neck, yeah, they got to say whatever, right? But someone to come, now you could do it. You to let you know that you're getting stronger, to let you know that you're a self-reliant person and you're not depending on someone else to do it for you. So those are the things I'm looking at. What can I do to make sure that people, we want to be there. Government's supposed to be there to have people's back, but the government can't be the ones that go in to do the work for you. And we got to really show them how, like, you got in business for yourself because you believed in yourself. We got to get you to get back into believing in yourself, not believing in us. Coming catching the slack all the time. We'll deal with hurricanes and all of the kinds of things that happen, but we want you to know that you can be reliant, like self-reliant, like these other businesses that have wall-to-wall customers, like in and out all the time, rain, sleet, or snow. They have to be doing something right. They have to be doing something right, else they would not have those customers all the time. Go ahead.
On that note, brother Barack B. Obama, we have Bridget Cain coming on today as a special guest. She owns a clothing store, both men and women. And
nice.
Matter of fact, she just called and said she's having some some IT issues at her store. So she went home. I said, hey, girl, pull over on the side of the road. With modern technology, we can do an interview from the bathroom.
That's right.
But audience, specifically Black audience, let me say this. When you go to a Black store, stop saying, hook me up. You're not going into Macy's saying, hook me up. You're not going into In and Out and saying, hook me up. The price is the price. If you want to support a Black business, stop saying, hook me up. And if you can't afford to pay the price, then don't go in the store. But I hear so many Black businesses saying, I get tired of our people coming in the store saying, hey man, hook me up. If you want to hook up, catch the brother in the parking lot who's selling out of his trunk. Think of Black businesses the same way you would think of Macy's, In-N-Out, even McDonald's. You are not going into McDonald's saying, hook me up. On that note, I'm going to pass the ball back to you, Dr. Ashley.
Barack, no, great words. Barack, you really point out two quick reflections. The difference between supporting and enabling, that line of what's enough support to help someone, as you said, spot them, but not too much takeover, and so that people don't understand their full strength and are able to demonstrate that. And then it also reminded me of your platform during your mayoral run for Alameda and your plans for the community and how you wanted the community to take active ownership of protecting their neighborhoods. And so getting involved in that process.
Exactly. I'm trying to make sure this battery doesn't go out on me here. So absolutely. The other thing that you said before I, came, or I was listening to you speaking about encouraging women in their lives. And there was the idea of environmental conditioning. Right. And if you have people in your environment that's picking you up, that you can do this, I want to do this, but I think I got to, you can do it. And I'm reminded by a thing from Think and Grow Rich of, am I remembering my successes or am I remembering my failures? Which one? I mean, I could use my brain, or am I remembering the failures of the failures of the people who tried it and didn't make it, or am I considering the people who tried it and made it? It's the choice is mine, and we can just have those mentors around us, the people who did make it, and just keep focusing in on that, and learn from what it is that they learned from their steps, things that their success leaves clues. Ask for some personal coaching. What did you do? Ask for mentorship, and that's the quickest way of being successful is having a mentor. Role modeling, it's the quickest way, because if they can do it, you can do it.
Well, thank you, Barack, so much for being with us. Audience, as you know, keep up with what he's doing in the community and his developing campaign for governor of California. He can be reached through his Instagram page at Barack Denzel, or on Facebook, Barack Denzel.
Barack,
awesome.
Keep up the great work. You have come a long way since the first time I met you in front of Trader Joe's. We will continue to support you in your endeavors to leading this great state of California. Thank you for coming on the show today, sir.
My pleasure. And I'll see you on the next one. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
On that note, glad to have back my brother, my friend, the man who quietly stands behind the scenes to fight for Black equality, Black economics, and Black empowerment for Black people. My friend and colleague, Mr. Trent Willis. Let's bring him on. There he is. What's going on, Trent?
How's everybody?
Hey,
Wait a minute.
Good to see you all again.
Wait a minute. Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Walaikum salam.
What's going on, man?
Well, I just wanted to first start out by sending all of my heartfelt greetings to your audience and your staff from the ILWU Local 10. Once again, we always appreciate the platform that you all give us here, on the Black Business Roundtable. Is something that our members really appreciate that you're doing. So thank you.
Wait a minute. As you can see, we done stepped up our game, bro.
Yeah, you see that. Yeah, so I see you got your background there, and you're doing your thing. I'm proud of you.
Well, it's guests like you that empower us to have the privilege to educate what is going on both in the blue collar and white collar section of the business world. We as a people need to realize that until we unite like you have done in SLAP, and I'll let you expand on that because I know you know all about. Wait a minute. I love doing that. But thank you for coming on the show today. Dr. Ashley, please.
Absolutely. I need to give Trent your VIP. So we have to give you the warmest welcome. But again, a guest on our show, friend of the show, several times since the inception of the Black Business Roundtable podcast in May 2021. And again, one of the first guests on the show who's helped shed light on issues facing the Port of Oakland and Howard Terminal, and has updated us on SLAP, Bay Area Schools and Labor Against Privatization.
On that note, Mr. Willis, let's dive right into this.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
As you know, we have the #1 show on BlackUSA.news in the nation, and that's because we have guests such as yourself. On that note, Mr. Willis, please share with our audience updates regarding the Howard Terminal and how one rich white billionaire who was supported by a mayor who was the mayor of the city of Oakland for 8 years. Under her tenureship, homeless population has doubled, and 70% of that homeless population are African American, and out of that 70%, over 50% of that number are senior citizens. On that note, and I had to put those numbers out there so our audience can hear what our politicians are and are not doing. So when we go to the election polls, because I hear she's running for another office, I'm going to continue to cite those numbers. So when you vote and you vote her in, remember, you're voting for a mayor who continues and has done less to increase economic development, diversity, and inclusion and equity in the city of Oakland, California.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely my opinion that the person that you're talking about, along with her cronies, was there to issue in a new era here in the Bay Area, in particular in Oakland, when it comes to totally gentrifying, the areas where our Black and brown brothers and sisters live. You mentioned earlier about the homeless population in Oakland, and I know that I was on one of the prior shows where I talked about who gets affected by negative impact first, and you mentioned them flat out. It's no surprise that the homeless population in Oakland is 70% Black, because the Black neighborhoods is where the gentrification is happening and the people are being misplaced. Okay, there's no surprise that that there's a high percentage of elderly members of society homeless, because you're looking at news reports every day that the attacks on Social Security, the attacks on elderly benefits, and things like that is just another sign of the greed, the corporate greed, that's sucking up the public resources. And I keep saying the same thing over and over again when I come on your show. I know we have different, discussions, but that's basically it in a nutshell. Corporate America has a strong hold on politics as far as influencing our elected, our elected representatives. They also have a lot of old money that's been built up over a couple of centuries, some of them, decades and decades of old money that's being used to attack the working man and woman, and I say it all the time, the day that workers unite under that banner, the structure you see in place now is going to be in a lot of trouble, and we've seen examples of it throughout history when workers have risen up and taken back. And it's going to take another episode of that. And also it's going to take like a constant dose of that throughout the future to keep working people in a position where, we don't have to keep fighting for our rights all the time. We're not struggling to have representation on jobs, and when we're working for these corporate conglomerates, So I'm looking forward to that day. This recent story dealing with the railroad workers shows exactly, what we're dealing with in the United States. The Democrats, they had an opportunity to show working people, since they were the quote party for the working people here in the United States, they had a chance to show us by honoring the railroad workers, who I think they just wanted like 7 sick days per year. They have the kind of job that is 24 hours, goes around the clock. They don't get much time off. They're really worked in a way where they don't get much relief. And the Democrats had a chance, to stand behind those workers and show corporate America that, they were on the side of working people, and they did the opposite. They did what our elected representatives do too often, which is take the side of big business, take the side of people who donate money.
Mr. Willis, immediate past president, I had to throw this in. I remember a couple, 2-3 years ago, when the city of Oakland and Alameda County allowed a shipload full of coronavirus people in here, and the ILWU did what, sir?
Well, I wouldn't call them a shipload of coronavirus people.
I don't mean to say that negatively, but
it was a cruise ship. It was a cruise ship that came to the Bay Area during the beginning stages of the pandemic, and an outbreak happened on the ship while it was sailing, and it sailed here to the Bay Area, and there was a bunch of precautions that the employer and also some city officials, representatives, didn't want to take those precautions when it came to the ILWU working the ship, and when it came to the safety of the community, when it came to trucking trash and items out of the that came from that ship out into the public. So we had to take a stand and make sure all of that was done correctly, and that not only was the ILWU workforce protected against the virus, which we knew very little about at that time, but also that the general public, we're the first line of defense when it comes to the waterfront. So we don't only just protect ourselves, we protect the public, from pollution. We make our employers, when they come call the Port of Oakland, they have to plug in their ships with shore power. We were the ones who brought that into existence here in the Bay Area to save our brothers and sisters in the West Oakland community from cancer causing carcinogens. So we've been fighting this battle for a long time, and that's just one example of one of the battles we had to fight during the coronavirus pandemic, which is still kind of moving right along. you don't hear about it as much, but it's still out there.
And to wrap that, my concerns and my applaud to you and the largely Black ILWU Local 10, what community would they have been shipping those coronavirus trash debris through predominantly, sir? Thank you.
Well, I mentioned it earlier, the first, any negative thing we talk about, you can rest assured that the first people affected negatively by it will be Blacks and Mexicans. That seems to go hand in hand, when it's time to start laying people off of jobs, or you get into a economic stress tragedy like we did in 2008. You saw all of the signs, the black and brown people all over the United States got affected first. So when this passenger ship called the Bay Area, after it had passengers had contracted the coronavirus, I don't remember whether that ship was regularly scheduled to call the Bay Area. I don't think it was, and I think that is what irritated our members immensely, because that showed us that, okay, you are literally going to come and call the port where all of the Black people are, and then you act like you don't want to take any safety precautions. Okay, then you want to do it right on the side of a Black neighborhood where Black people live, Black and brown people. Okay, downtown area, highly populated area of Oakland, the port is, so you don't take chances like that with the coronavirus when it comes to highly populated areas, or any area really, but the more populated the area, it seems like the more precautions you would take, but I guess when it's highly populated and it's Black people, then it tends to change the sense of emergency when it comes to protection, and that's what we were disturbed about, and we took the necessary action that it was necessary to get it rectified.
And on that note, Mr. Trent Willis, is there any other issues you want to touch on this afternoon, sir? Thank you.
Yeah, it's a couple. We're in contract negotiations. I just want to let your audience know that we're negotiating both a coastwise agreement for all of our longshore division locals up and down the West Coast, and we're also negotiating locally here in the Bay Area for what we call local supplements. Miscellaneous supplement agreements that we have just here locally. Every local area has their local agreements also, and we've been having somewhat of a hard time with the employers. Nothing different from what you're hearing from other unions across the country, because once again, I'm going to circle back to it. It's the employers in this country, especially the large employers who are all on the same team, who basically are taking a stance against unions, because unions will stop them from taking advantage of the public and hogging up the resources. The unions are the only thing in the way. Unions and organizations like SLAP, Schools and Labor Against Privatization. So everything I do is targeted and based on stopping the raping of public resources, because when you can stop the bleeding of public resources and the theft of public resources from big corporations, then you are automatically preserving jobs. Okay, because you're stopping money mismanagement. Okay, the corporations that don't invest into their workforces, okay, into the safety on the job, into good working conditions and good benefits for workers, are exposed when it comes to corporate greed. Okay, so if unions, which the purpose of a union is to represent the members and to I wouldn't use the word force, but to get the corporations and employers to understand that that money that they're hogging up and stuffing in their pockets and sending overseas needs to be redirected and invested into the workforce. Okay, so that the people that's spending the money and making the economy turn have the resources to continue to happen. You know, and without unions, you're going to get market crashes like 2008. If you look back in history, you know, all the way back to the 1920s, it's not talked about a lot, but the reason for market crashes is the wealthy, the rich. They start hogging up too much money, okay, and then they make too many people poor. So we talked about the wealth gap. The wealth gap gets really wide, and then you have a market crash because the regular people, who are the majority, can't pay house notes, car notes. They can't buy clothes for their kids. They can't buy lunch for their kids at school. They can't afford education. They can't afford anything, which makes the whole market capitalist system crash. Okay. And then when it crashes, then you have corporations that go to their chummy buddies in the government that's supposed to be representing us, and then they get our tax money to stay afloat after they've made all of these bad decisions and bad business decisions. See, so I know that was a lot, but that's like a really, I guess, a vision into why unions are so necessary for those reasons and a lot other, you know, but unions are the middle ground in the way of corporate America taking complete advantage of citizens. And you know that the Black and brown people are going to be the first ones taken advantage of. So we should be the first ones joining unions.
On that note, as we wrap this up, Mr. Trent Willis, it is always a pleasure. Dr. Ashley, please.
Yes, audience, again, we're always enlightened when Trent Willis comes and visits the show. To follow more about what he's doing, as well as the ILWU and SLAP, please follow them on Instagram. Their handles are at ILWU, at SLAP Bay Area. Again,
.org.
.org. Yes.
Right. Thank you, audience. Thank you, Doni. And you guys are great. And I look forward to the next time I come on. You know, I wanted to tell your audience though, there is a documentary that I want your whole audience, if they get a chance to look at this documentary, it will explain pretty much how we got to where we are as far as the labor movement, but it explains it in a way where it's coming from the Emancipation Proclamation in 1865. Okay, and it's showing it gives a timeline from that point all the way up to now, and it'll give your audience members a better understanding of how we got to where we are, especially as African Americans, and how we got to where we are as workers here. Also, very enlightening documentary is called Who We Are, and it's on Netflix. Who We Are. If you get a chance, audience, please look that up. It is very enlightening. You might be mad afterwards, but you will be educated.
On that note, Trent, we'll see you next time on the Black Business Roundtable. Thank you for coming on today. We'll see you soon. Thanks, my man. Keep up the good fight, because I understand you know how to throw them things too.
I know how to throw them pretty good. All right. Thank you.
Talk to you later, man. On that note, Dr. Ashley, we have our special guest backstage talking about a Black woman who owns not one, but 2 stores. So take us into break and let's bring her immediately on the show. Thank you, Dr. Ashley.
Absolutely, no problem. Thank you, Mr. Donnie Glover of BlackUSA.News. Audience, please be sure to tune in to our sister programming. There's the Donnie Glover Show and Chap and Friends on Mondays. There's Party Marty, Let's Talk on Tuesdays, Black USA Crypto News with Kamal Hubbard on Fridays, as he knows all about blockchain and cryptocurrency. On Saturdays, there's the Blackout Live from New York with Tajmir. And on Sundays, there's 60 Minutes in Black USA with Michael Haney and the Beverly Francis Show as well with Beverly Francis Smith. To join our BBRT advertisement family or to be a possible guest on the show, reach us via our email address, bbrt2021@hotmail.com. In the email, please be sure to include your company's name, its website, and contact information for vetting consideration. Doug?
On that note, let's welcome for the first time right here on the Black Business Roundtable, our special guest, Bridget Cain, proprietor of Nates4Men and another woman's clothing store that I'm sure she is going to explain. Dr. Ashley, let's bring her out. Is she, because I know she called, and let me be clear. It is storming out here in Oakland. I'm looking out the window here on across the street from the Oakland Coliseum, and it looks like a blizzard out here in Oakland, California. Rain, traffic is backed up. It looks, and you know what I'm talking about on 880 right across the street. So we want to thank Bridget Cain for coming on today because she called me and was having IT problems at her clothing store in downtown Oakland. So, Dr. Ashley, can you please read this beautiful, wonderful woman's bio? Thank you.
Absolutely. Nates4Men opened its doors for the grand debut on September 16, 2022, inside the downtown Oakland City Center Plaza. The event featured a sneak peek menswear fashion show and ribbon cutting sponsored by the Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce. Nates4Men is in the heart of Oakland City Center, 501 14th Street, Oakland, California, and the phone number 510-925-1662.
Welcome, Bridget. I think she is backstage. Hold on, let's make sure she's back there. Let's add her to the screen. Okay, she might be having a little bit of technical difficulty because
we have her on audio, but I think it may just.
Well, that's fine. We want to make sure our audience get a full grasp of what successful Black entrepreneurs, and specifically African American women, because let me be clear, audience, our Black women are leading the way, not only here in Oakland, California, and Alameda County, in the state of California, and across America in regards to business entrepreneurship. We have got to stop being consumers. We have got to stop being consumers and start being owners and operators. On that note, I'm going to check and see where she is, because once again, Dr. Ashley, I'm looking out the window saying I might have to sit here. Okay. It is pouring down here. And while she gets adjusted and I get myself together I have a meeting tonight with and I'm going to pull this up because I want to share with our audience how Oakland, California, Alameda County is making a big effort to address the lack of political empowerment of our people. Mr. Sean Dugard, who is Barbara Lee's field manager for her run for senator, United States Senator. He is hosting the Black Democratic Delegates Meet and Greet tonight at let me see, because I can't give you the address because you have RSVP.
Right.
If you want to RSVP, the telephone number is 510-230-3095. Once again, 510-230-3095. Now, it starts at 6:30 and it is over at 8 o'clock. The objective of us meeting tonight is to create Black political power, getting our people educated. And guess who's going to be there as a co-host? Lisa Victory, a victory story.
Nice.
Wait a minute, you see me throwing them hands?
I see you.
If we are going to be sitting at the table instead of being on the menu, you have got to get involved politically. And if you don't get involved politically, be ready to be eaten up on the menu. So I'm going to give my sister, Bridget Cain, a telephone call, because one thing here on the Black Business Roundtable, oh, there she is. We don't find excuses for failure. We find avenues for success. And that's, oh, there she go. Uh-oh, hold on. There she goes. She must have made it through the storm because she said, Doug, I'm not going to let you down. Okay, let's see if we can get her.
But I'm here.
Hi.
Audience, this is what I'm talking about. On the Black Business Roundtable, we don't find excuses for why we cannot. We find avenues for yes, we can. How you doing, Bridget Cain?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
We are doing great.
How you?
Dr. Ashley, can you please read this woman's bio again? Because we want our audience to get a flavor. And before you do that, I want to say this, audience. When you go to her store, don't be asking for a hookup, because if you want a hookup, that's the brother in the parking lot who can hook you up. If you go to Nates, you're not going to ask to get hooked up. If you go to In-N-Out Burger or McDonald's, you're not going to ask to get hooked up. You're going to pay the price, or security is going to escort you out. On that note, Dr. Ashley, please.
Yes, I'm going to read the bio, but Bridget, I just want to say hello and let you know that one of our viewers is showing you love in the comments. And Miss Eloise Middleton says, "Hi, Bridget." So I just
hi, Eloise.
give you that shout out. But Nates4Men opened its doors for the grand debut on September 16th, 2022, inside the downtown Oakland City Center Plaza. The event featured a sneak peek menswear fashion show and ribbon cutting sponsored by the Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce. Nates4Men is in the heart of Oakland City Center, located at 501 14th Street, Oakland, California, and can be reached via telephone 510-925-1662. Bridget, we're so happy to have you. Doug, let's get it rolling.
Welcome, Bridget Cain in the house. I was last week. My colleague said, "Boy, you stepping up your game. Where'd you get that tie?"
I did, Bridget.
Nates4Men.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Beautiful.
Nates4Men was not your first venture into fashion sales, as you are a fashion staple for why during the pandemic, no less did you decide to open a brick and mortar establishment when so many businesses were closing, featuring men's luxury apparel. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes, that was a very, very difficult time for us. I vowed I wasn't going to have a brick and mortar again, but lo and behold, this opportunity fell into my lap. So I reopened Proper Fashions. Proper Fashions established in Sacramento many, many years ago, like over 30 years ago, actually. So I've been doing this for quite some time. And thankfully, we were able to weather the storm and make it through COVID. I had to pivot, because Proper Fashion is actually known for you have to go to somewhere, a party, a concert, we were to go to. right? Proper fashion. And when COVID hit, where were we going? Nowhere.
Right.
So we had to figure it out. I had to figure it out. So I finally came up and was able to find some masks to keep our doors open because we had to be essential. So I'm like, well, yeah, I got to find something to stay open. So I ordered masks, like 10,000 masks and hand sanitizers. So that way we were able to stay open. Then I had to get the casual clothing with a little cute top, and who knew if you had on the bottom, right?
Right.
So that was a very, very, very challenging time for me.
Wow.
But as you see, 5 years later, we are still there. And again, I've opened up Nates4Men, and that was, in honor and memory of my son that passed away. So we're still here.
Oh yeah. And so I just want to acknowledge, Bridget, how you're talking about going from stepping out to then how we had to transition to club living room to then how we had to transition into maybe business on the top and maybe party on the bottom. But can
Right.
you tell us a little bit more? You mentioned naming Nates4Men after your son. Can you tell us about Nate, and did he have a flair for fashion like you?
He definitely did. My son was my only child. He
Mm.
would literally light up the room when he walked in, no matter where he was. And he was a stellar type young man. He was never in any trouble. He loved to dress. He really got it, from my mother. I mean, from me and my mom, because my mom was a seamstress, and she would make our clothes without a pattern.
Mm.
And Nate, so he got it. It was in his DNA,
Mm.
and he loved to dress, and he understood, what it meant to look good,
Mhm.
and feel good from the inside out. And
Mhm.
he was my everything. He was the light of my
Mm.
world.
Mm.
And in the real estate industry, knew that because that's where I kind of started when I hit the Bay Area, because I'm originally from Southern Cal.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so I was working in real estate with the
Mm.
realtors, and that's how
Mhm.
I know LOVs and a ton of
Mhm.
other realtors. Because I was the president of the Women's Council back in the day, and I enjoyed. And they took me in as family. The
Mm.
realtors. They took me in family, and Nate grew up with the realtors, so everyone knew my
Mm.
son. And like I said, he was uh, literally my heartbeat.
Mm.
So it was very challenging. I named the store because I wanted to keep him alive, keep
Mm.
his spirit alive. So I
Mhm.
named the store Nate's so I could
Mm.
still talk about him, because if you met him once and then I might have forgotten, I'm like, you meet my son Nate.
Mhm.
I've always talked about him. He's still the apple of my eye. So,
Mhm.
and he loved to dress, from head to toe. And one
Mm.
time for his junior prom, I was shocked because he was kind of low key kind of guy.
Mhm.
And I was taking him out to get his junior prom outfit, as a attire. And I actually ended up getting that from Oxford Way,
Mhm.
the men's store then, because of course I didn't have mine. And Nate literally picked out a red jacket. I was like, what are you talking about? I said, what you mean red? They had red shoes. I was like, okay, son, so you got that San Bernardino in you. So,
Mhm.
it was a joy, a pleasure. And the store now, keeps me alive, keeps me going.
Mm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, audience, let me be clear here on the Black Business Roundtable. I had an opportunity to see several fashion shows that were put on by Bridget Cain, and let me be, the audience were in awe, including myself.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
the grand opening of Nates4Men at City Center,
Mhm.
I walked out of there spending a couple of $100s on ties and shirts, which if you were to go to a Macy's or a high-end store, you would have spent $500 to $1,000. The prices
Mhm.
are very, affordable for the quality
Yeah.
of attire that you get.
Mhm.
And as I initially stated coming on, if you want to get hooked up, catch the brother in the parking lot who's in the back, who has a tire in the back of his truck. But if you want to get a fair market value for your money, go
Mhm.
to Nates4Men. And she didn't pay me to say that.
No, I did not.
On
And
that,
not only that, not only that, you can, you know, if you're a couple or
Mhm.
there's a man and a woman, your brother and sister, you just happen to be shopping together, you can shop at both stores because they are literally in the same plaza, like literally 2 minutes away. So you can shop
Oh.
at Proper Fashions, and then the men can be down at Nates4Men.
Mhm.
Very convenient, and you
It
can
is.
catch a bar if you have issues with driving. And we're working out something for the parking because we do have security 24 hours
Mhm.
in the plaza, but there's also a secure parking garage. So I'm in the middle now. I'm negotiating something so I can accommodate our customers
Hmm.
for parking.
well, let me be clear, Bridget Cain. I
Yeah.
have a relationship with the mayor, Shang Tao. We supported her. So I will
Uh-huh.
definitely let her know that Nates4Men, and what's the other store name?
Proper Fashions.
Proper Fashions must have the support of our not just newly elected mayor, but full city council in regards to parking. Because
Mhm.
if you go to Macy's, Nordstrom, or Fifth Avenue, they have ideal parking for businesses. And we want to make sure that when you come to Oakland, California, because, and I got to say this, in Jack London Square,
Mhm.
oh, I think we lost. Well, she'll be back. But audience, while oh, there she is.
Sorry, somebody
My
called.
vehicle,
Mhm.
I had issues with Jack London Square, but in City Center Plaza, they have a underground parking that has, from my understanding, has never had security issues. So
Mhm.
if you come to Oakland and want to shop at a high-end Black woman-owned store for men and women that are within 2 minutes of walking distance, come to Oakland, California, and shop at
Mhm.
Nates4Men and Proper Fashion. I can tell
Yes.
you this, my friend and supporter of this show, Tammy Willis, is a very staunch buyer advocate of your apparel.
Yes, she is. She is.
On
She
that
comes
note,
through.
oh yeah, when she steps out of your store, I'll be, whoa, I gotta go in there and iron my shirt, my tie, can't have me looking like Boo Boo the Fool out here.
No, no.
No,
Yep.
no, you have very nice apparel at your store. On
Thank
that
you.
note, what types of tailored suits does Nates4Men specialize in, and what are some of the luxury brands represented? What about Black designers offering? And the most important is, how often do you update your inventory to keep things fresh? Because I like
Well, we keep our inventory moving because that's how fast it's coming in and going out. We
Mhm.
get new things in weekly, both stores. The men's store, we carry Stacy Adams, Nautica, fedora hats, the shoes, the belts,
Mhm.
um, a couple of Italian companies that I use that has a slim cut because that's what's really in. And we have a wide range of tuxedos and suits
Mhm.
because the young kids are getting ready for the prom.
Right.
And we have parents already shopping early, you
Oh
know.
wow. Okay.
So we accommodate most everyone and we carry I can get up to size 5X in certain items for the men
Mhm.
and 4X for the women.
Okay.
Okay. We
Wow.
have nice ties, bow ties, the big butterfly bow ties, velvet are really popular right now. nice belts, nice shoes. And what I tried to make sure I did was to make sure our shoe range is from $56 to, of course, on up to $400. Because if you have a child or maybe two, you're not trying to spend, or maybe you can't spend $300 for a pair of shoes, right? And the kids aren't there yet mentally, and being responsible for shoes that cost that much. So what I did is make sure I have a range like I said, from $56 to $300 on up in shoes.
But
Go ahead.
Dr. Ashley, before you ask, when I was at the grand opening, let me be clear, audience. Our people sometimes have African parties, and what I mean African apparel parties where you come in. Can you discuss with us the type of African apparel? Because I said to myself, next time I get a big little chunk of money, I want to come in and purchase, because a friend of mine, we want to go to Africa. But can you talk to us briefly about your African apparel so that our audience know? I hear a lot of people say, man, where do you go to get some good African apparel? Discuss with our audience that line of clothing that you have in your store. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for asking, Doug. Actually, we have an array of styles in our African styles for the women and for the men. For the men's store, for Nates4Men, luckily we have Kofi's designs, and his designs are strictly from Ghana. It's for the men, and it's the short sets, then it's the long sets. And we're going to have a launch this month, March the 22nd, which is a Wednesday, that we're going to show his line. And typically, they have the dresses that are kind of full. I have both. I have one that's fitting, and then the one that are full. It just depends on what a person likes. And also pin sets for the women and for the men. Nice. So it isn't just for the men, but also for the women. And with the head wraps, the whole nine.
Well, Dr. Ashley, please, but let me say this. Ray Bobbitt, the president of the African American Sports and Entertainment Group, which our new filming location is right across the street. And I'm going to ask him, once he gets this stadium project in full blast, to see if we can get you a booth at the Oakland Coliseum. So when our brothers and sisters across Oakland, Alameda County, state of California, United States, and in the world, Craig, in the world, when they come to Oakland and see the new stadium that is owned by that has an African American Sports and Entertainment Group, can come to your store while watching the game, can patronize your operations. So that's my commitment to you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. There's another event that we're doing on the 29th with Al Long. Actually, he's also known as Busy Bro. And he's going to come in, like we had one last weekend. He came in and we just put it out there, and whoever attended, which is for the men's store, let me be clear. And he talks about what the youth or a single mother or single parent help them dress their kids or the children or the young men. I gotta stop. I'm still thinking the name. But to dress the youth, help the youngsters understand how to put on a tie, or you don't just have to wear a tie. You can wear a turtleneck, or you can wear the bow tie, or you can have it just kind of open. And if you have a certain body type, what works for your body type? Because some people have really big shoulders, and then the other ones maybe a little smaller frame. And if you have a little bit of a stomach or a little bit too much stomach, you might not want to wear the double-breasted. One single, the single breast, the single button would be perfect. So those are things that a person can learn, and how to match up. It's like you buy an outfit, a suit, and you can mix and match. Some people just don't know that. So we're just trying to teach some etiquette and dressing for the youngsters, and even some people that just, kind of get dressed in the dark.
Dr. Ashley, I got one question before you shoot your question off.
Go ahead.
My friend Bridget Cain, if a young man comes to your store from a single family, a woman, a mother whose father is not in the picture, would you be able to help that young man learn how to tie a tie correctly? Because I remember my daughter went to school in the 8th grade, and a young man came with a tie, and he didn't know how to tie it. And I said, "Hey, come here, man. Come here, young man." And I showed him how to tie it, and his eyes lit up. We don't have that type of thing in the Black community. Does your store offer that?
Definitely, we do offer that. We also have a relationship with All Tied Up. Ahmad, with his organization, we have donated to his organization plenty of ties. And he put on an event and did the same thing, had all the young guys there. And he said there's like a zillion different ways to tie a tie. So we definitely will accommodate our customers with that, because it's very important.
Yeah. So a couple of comments there. Appreciative of the inclusive sizing, the inclusive price points. I have to tell you, I was the first person to notice that Doug had changed his wardrobe by first a shirt that he wore of yours a few months ago. But I had true envy last week because the tie, which was like, I want to say almost probably one of Kofi Designs, the tie was like a purple tie with like a nice African pattern. And all I could immediately think of was, oh, that is in a skirt or that in a dress. And so I immediately, my mind went there. And Bridget, I'm from Oakland, but in LA, so I'm familiar with all type of Southern California style and flair and San Bernardino. So there's a look. But so tell us a little bit more about proper fashions and some of those head to toe looks that sisters can find and visiting your boutique.
So we have really, really unique pieces. People put on fashion shows and, certain things, it's like, okay, where am I going to wear that, right? But it's for the flares, for the excitement. When we put on fashion shows, all of our looks, we have 2-piece sets that you can wear. You can see yourself wearing somewhere. And then you can mix it up and wear, like you're at the office and you have maybe you have on a 2-piece right now with the red jacket, right? But it's from something else at the bottom that's real, real cute for a party. So now it's like you can switch it up. So we are really known for our really unique styles with our jumpsuits, our dresses, our 2-piece sets. And those sets are actually go up to a 3X. Because typically, like if you go to some other store, and you're trying to find something, let's say Macy's, it's all kind of looking the same or a little bit boring. Our items are what I call sassy. Just keep it sassy. You can't go wrong, is what I pretty much tell people. As long as it's sassy, and stay in your lane. Some people kind of get out their lane a little bit. And I help them with that. And I'm very honest, and my staff is very honest. It's like, well, here's something I think that might fit you better. You don't have to buy it, just try it. And there's things that certain people really need to try on because it makes a difference when you try it on. And so that's what we help our customers with. So they're allowed to try things on. They can schedule with me one-on-one, and I could pick out, which a lot of my real busy customers do that are real busy. And I'll pull anywhere between 7 to 10 pieces, and they can come, by the time they get there, they can look to the store and see if they want to try on other things too. And then we say, okay, yes or no, yes or no. So that's another feature that we offer, because I am a stylist and I can 9 times out of 10 get it right. If you send me a picture, this year picture, and I can pretty much dress you just by looking and getting a feel for it.
Well, audience, let me elaborate on that. About 3 or 4, maybe 5 months ago, I attended an event where I was asked to have a green tie.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me? And I called my woman, and I say my woman as a friend type of thing. I said, girl, I need to have something green to attend this event. And you attended that event. Not only did she accommodate me, but she brought it to the event and a pair of socks. So when I came to the event, I did not stand out. I stood up on my phone call to her and her helping me to fit right in. So I want to thank you for that. And I remember that. And I think you remember the event I'm talking about.
I do. I do. It's the Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce, I believe.
Exactly.
Yes, yes.
Are you having any specials for new customers, and can orders be done online or only in the store? Thank you.
The orders can be done both online and in the store. And like we're having our conversation here, we can do a virtual where I can, which I have done several times, FaceTime our customers and pick out things and say, okay, what about this? What about this? And you can shop that way. We ship wherever we need to ship. Let's see, anything that's coming up would be, I know that I'm going to be in the Battle of the Boutiques, which just so y'all know, I won the last time. That was years ago.
Nice.
We kicked butt. But it's coming up. It's the Lake Fest, which is huge, but it isn't until June. I think it's the third Saturday in June.
Okay.
But it's the Battle of the Boutiques, and Proper Fashions and Nates4Men will be there. We will show up and we will show out. Trust that.
Dr. Ashley, please.
Wow, we believe that. But, I was just thinking about the Black Business Roundtable. We talked so much about the empowerment of the Black dollar and letting it circulate in our community. And we know the research talks about how quickly our money leaves the community and goes other places. And so we're talking about detailed service from a stylist that knows body types and fit, with, again, catering service to the convenience of accessing your boutiques, through various modes of transit and consideration of security and parking, can rival any high-end department store. And when you talked about FaceTiming as well as virtual consultations and shipping anywhere, my card and my wallet started talking. So Bridget, you'll be hearing from me. But can you remind us again of any events again happening in March or April with either one of your boutiques? Any events?
So March, we're doing March the 29th at Nates4Men from 1 to 3. And it's for men, parents. Men, parents, and young adults. Okay, I'm back. So March the 29th, we're doing an event for the men at the men's store. And Al Long, who is also known as Busy Bro, will be there. And he helps our customers teach the young men how to tie a tie if necessary and select which item might work and switch things up and what fits their body type. April 29th, I'm doing a fashion show, but it's in Sacramento, but it's for the Delta Sigma Thetas. I do shows for them and I've been for them. Okay. So that's April 29th. And then June is the Battle of the Boutiques. And I'm sure something else will come up, within that time frame, but that's what I can remember off the top of my head.
Bridget, we so appreciate you for your time and know that you're a mover and shaker. Audience, as you can hear now, grab a loved one, go down, visit Nates4Men and Proper Fashions. You can also learn more about what they're doing through their website, nates4men.com, and also by visiting their IG page, Nates4Men and the number 1.
On that note, Bridget and audience, not just here in Oakland, not here in the county of Alameda, not just here in the state of California, but all across America. When you want to get that proper attire, whether it be the traditional suit and tie or the African American here I come outfit, go to Nates4Men and Proper Fashion owner, Bridget Cain. Thank you for coming on the show today. We look forward to having you back.
One more thing, Doug. Yes. Our business hours, because I know people would want to know. Our business hours are from Monday through Friday from 10 until 6. On Saturdays from 11 until 3. Okay. Then you can always call and set up a virtual or set up an appointment with me, so we can work through some things and help you decide and make choices of what looks good on you. Because people are we're faced with, oh, I gained weight, oh, I lost weight, and I can help you with that.
Well, I know you're in the traditional brick and mortar stores, their designs are more consistent with white folk. Your designs are more consistent with the African American Nubian queen bodies. So I had to throw that in there.
Yeah. But don't forget, we cater to everyone. We have
absolutely.
Everyone pops in, but I'm a sister, so I got to make sure,
I just want to throw that out there because our sisters have a very unique body, and we want to make sure that they know if you want to find something that's fit and you must quit, head over to Proper Fashion.
Not now, but right now. Okay.
You like that one, huh? You're going to have to use that one.
I'm going to use that.
If you fit and you must quit, go to Proper Fashion.
Okay.
Thank you for coming on the show today. We'll see you
You're
soon.
welcome.
And we I enjoy your apparel, and I will see you soon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Bridget.
And I will make sure that I contact City Hall, both the mayor and City Council, in regards to that parking issue, because audience, that parking is right below her store. You can come up, get what you need. And Oakland has had a plague in certain types of issues. But if you go to her store, you'll come back to your vehicle in the same way you left it.
That's the idea. Okay. Thank you.
We'll see you
Thank
soon.
you.
Okay,
right.
Take care. Bye now.
Dr. Ashley, on that note, we're going to wrap up the Black Business Roundtable. And once again, as you can see, we are turning a time and a table under Doni Glover with my sister, Dr. Ashley, to bring on. And I think last week I said this is our second year. No, in May, it will be going into our third year.
Yeah, right.
Does it seem like we've been on 3 years?
No, it'll be exactly 2 May. It's starting at third. Time is going and it's growing, and the impact, the fruits of the labor is blossoming.
On that note, Dr. Ashley, please take us home.
Absolutely. Again, thank you, Mr. Doni Glover, for your platform. Want to share some announcements of friends of the show. And remember, update your Instagram follow list. Here are some people we're following that we recommend you keep abreast of what they're doing in their respective communities. There's the @Nile Swim Club, our friends in Pennsylvania, @The Busy Wife 2017, @Urban Cowgirl 510, @L'Objet Wines, @AASEG Oakland, @Shang for Oakland, @Arc Republic, @Justice for Pushan Brown, @100K Trees, @Justice for Enzo, and @Chris Kelly Foundation. Again, Mr. Doni Glover, thank you so much for your continued support and mentorship in this space. Audience, remember, we have sister programming that you can check out and be informed from coast to coast. There's Chapin Friends on Mondays. There's Titillating Tuesdays with Stacey Dennis and Party Marty Let's Talk on Tuesdays. Black USA Crypto News with Kamal Hubbard on Fridays. On Saturdays, there's the Blackout Live from New York with Tajmir and 60 Minutes in Black USA with Michael Haney. In addition, there's some other shows on our network, such as the Mr. Donnie Glover morning show. There's People Over Politics, Political Cipher, Data Mall Sis, Community Connections, Resources and Gardening, The Robert Report, Shared Space, Frontline News, The Troy Rawlings Show, and The Beverly Smith Show. If you want to be in the know and reach our audience, then join our BBRT advertising family, or to be a possible guest on the show. Again, reach us by our email address, bbrt2021@hotmail.com. In that email, include your company's name, contact information, and website for vetting consideration. As well, we're in honor of, here we go, National Women's Month. We're keeping tabs on just, again, some stories that are near and dear to our heart. There's Stand with Carlton of Raleigh NC 2022. We also have an update. A next trial date is March 27th, 2023 for, again, the hashtag Driving While Black, Michael Thrash, Taylor County TX. So we're keeping abreast of that show. So keep using those hashtags and stay informed as we continue to show our support of that long-standing fight for justice. Doug?
Audience, as you can see, we not only inform you about business, we inform you about politics too, because if we are, as a group of people, going to empower our next generation, we need to understand the politics. We need to understand the politics in America. To that end, thank you for joining today. Thank you for joining today. We return next Thursday with my little sister, and I will be seeing her in actually 38 minutes at the Democratic Party, Democratic Club mixer meet and greet hosted by Sean Dugard, the representative for the state and national here. Thank you for joining us today. We return next Thursday with Alista Victory and Victory's Corner. And also Kaeya Nyambi Shivers of ARC Republican. And excuse me if I said, I want to make sure I say that correctly. Kaeya Nyambi Shivers of ARC Republic, that broke the Black Colorado rancher story in January. We look forward to seeing you. We look forward to seeing you every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the blackusa.news network on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you, audience, for tuning in. And remember, together, we can listen, we can learn, and we can share, because I know you care. I know you care. This is Doug Blacksher and my sister, my friend, my colleague, and sometimes my therapist, Dr. Ashley Coleman of the Black Business Roundtable. God bless and good night. Dr. Ashley, I'll see you next week.
Okay, take care.